Yo, J Mike back with another video. Just got finished watching UFC 275 a little while ago. And saw some comments up about, was the fight fixed? And this is one I'm not sure on. From watching the fight, for the majority of the fight, I would say no, it didn't look fixed. I mean, the cut above Jiri's eye was, they could have stopped the fight after, if you would have seen the cut after the fight was done. That was a huge cut on his eye. That could have possibly stopped the fight. That was as big as the Nate Diaz gash that stopped the Masvidal fight. That was a big gash above his eye. But that fifth round was kind of funny. And this is the only reason I say it could have been. By watching it, it didn't pass my test of the smell of, except for the very, very end, when I saw the betting odds for Jiri to win by submission was plus 1,600. That means you bet $100, you get $1,600. So, if anybody wanted to fix the fight, that's part of my formula. Part of my formula to fix it out is watching those odds, which way the fight shouldn't end, and it ends up ending. If that's big money, that's part of my formula. So I would say that meets my formula for a fixed fight. Also, one of the main smell tests is for fighting looking off during the fight, for things looking strange. And not a lot looked strange until that fifth and final round. But by that time, there's a lot of ways you could hack it up because they were both dead tired. But when Glover had Jiri hurt with the right hand, I believe it was, and he kept following up, he kept clipping him, and he had him out on his feet, and he jumped for that guillotine, that was a mistake. Was it an on-purpose mistake or not? Glover had dominated Jiri on the ground, but Jiri got out on a few little slippery things there. He was tricky on the bottom. He was moving around. He wasn't trying to accept position. Glover just was the dominant wrestler. But when he actually when he was in the guard, Jiri was actually getting dominated more in the guard than in the mount some. But actually, he was doing better in the mount position than he was, and side control especially, than he was doing when he had Glover in his guard. But at the end there, when he flopped around and Glover got the neck, and he got Glover's neck, at that point, Glover was just, it seemed to me that he was just exhausted, that he was just tired. Both guys were tired, and Jiri surprised him by taking the neck. That would be my first glance. But it's kind of out of character for Glover to tap, he didn't have the hooks in, but he was under the neck pretty hard. He was in there pretty good, and it looked like he tried to get out of it at first, Glover did, but he adjusted, ended up, and Jiri just kept turning the corner, and he got that choke without the hooks. And that's a little bit funny. So this one, I can't be sure of. I can't say for certain. All I can say is it meets one part of my formula. It doesn't meet all parts of my formula. It meets the one part. That would be the way that they would fix the fight. Jiri by submission winning. I should have looked at the things ahead of time, because that would have been a little bit more assured on what this fight was. But watching the fight, if it was, Jiri wasn't in on it. Or maybe, I don't know, but how would he know to sink the choke? Usually when they fix fights, though, it's usually only one person. When they script them like that, it's a big thing to keep quiet. Like, the only fights that I know that are scripted, like for sure, was like Mayweather, McGregor. That was scripted. That whole thing was scripted. They knew ahead of time. Not Mayweather, but Aldo versus McGregor. That was scripted. They knew how that fight was going to end. How do I know? Because in the locker room before the fight, Conor's practicing the move that he's going to finish Aldo with. Do you think that Conor, after seeing him fight now, Dustin Poirier, his last few fights, and seeing him fight all these different fights that he's had here versus Khabib, and how he got owned, and how he got owned versus Dustin twice. I mean, come on now. That McGregor's not as good as people thought. Oh, he's just deteriorated because of whatever. No, McGregor was a fabrication. McGregor was scripted, and these fights were fixed. I can go through many of the fights and show you how I can absolutely prove that they're fixed. But he was Ronda 2.0. He was somebody that he was produced by the UFC. They cherry picked him against opponents at first. He fixed a bunch of opponents at the end. All those title fights were all fixed. Eddie Alvarez was fixed. Jose Aldo was fixed. Chad Mendes was fixed. They were all fake. But this fight tonight, by the eye and being 100% positive, I can't give you 100%. Yeah, this fight was fixed. All I can say is the way that he won by submission with the plus 1,600 payouts is how they would rig fights. That would be consistent with the rigging of a fight. That and any kind of strange behavior, atypical styles in the fight. But I didn't see that all fight long. I didn't see that all fight long at all. Anything that was out of character. Glover looked in good form. Jiri looked in good form. Jiri, I wasn't impressed with Jiri. I thought that Glover was winning the fight. The majority of them. Jiri had him hurt quite a few times. And instead of capitalizing on the feet, he was like taking him down and stuff like that, which I thought was a little strange. But that could just be, Jiri never has he had quite a high fight IQ. And we saw that tonight. His fight IQ isn't very high. But at the end there, he closed the show with the submission. So take that as, it was either, I mean, we wouldn't call it luck because it's skill, but he caught quite a break there at the end. Glover made a mistake and he caught a break. Glover was fatigued. He's the older man. He's fighting a 29 or 28-year-old guy, and he's 42. He shouldn't have been that dominant the majority of the fight. But I thought coming up to the end, Glover was probably ahead 3-1 or either ahead 3-1 or I thought Jiri might have won 2 rounds. It could have been 2-2 going in, but Glover was dominating that 5th round. But Glover could have closed the show on the feet, but he took him to the ground, which was kind of strange. He should have stayed on the feet. He would have had him finished because Jiri was out on his feet. He just needed him. If he would have hit him with a straight jab, and Glover has good boxing. He has good fundamental boxing. And he already had him hurt. He had him waving around like that. Why did he take him to the ground? Maybe he thought that on the ground there he could finish him easier than he could on the feet because Jiri seems to be a warrior. But it's strange. The way the fight won, again, it is consistent with how they would fix this fight. By the looks of the fight, though, I'm not certain to any degree. It looked like the fight was real. The cut was real. Glover seemed he said those shots to the body hurt him and wore him out. He seemed wore out in the 5th round. He's got age. So it would be consistent with being, a legit fight. Just suspect of how it ended. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and comments, what you think about the fight. If there's something that you noticed that I didn't notice, let me know. Take care and have a great night. God bless. Peace.